What's up? It's that King. I'm back. So, I've been working on the code for the interface to communicate with a PlayStation controller. I've succeeded in doing what I was trying to do. So, I got it working, which is a bonus, I guess. So I'm doing pretty well with it. So, oh hiya Zara. Bloody hell, didn't know you was awake. Yeah, so I've got pretty far through it. Everything almost works. I've built the polling structures, the control map features, button controls, haptic manager, light effects. I've also just finished doing the reader that reads the control states, and right now I'm just making some internal wrappers so that I can easily initialize it. Oh yeah. Yeah, so if I get my camera system up and running, so I need to take that out because I'm not using that big bulky camera. Sorry. There we go. Just unscrewing this. How have you been, Zara? You been alright? You're free to stay on watching over now while I'm doing this if you want. So I need to get the camera on. So I can demonstrate it working. Right, so let's get the phone, get that droid cam on. I think I need to move that. I've got so much mess on my desk. My desk is an absolute mess. Right, so got some room there. Move that out of the way. Move the PlayStation controller. I'll put the PlayStation controller there. Now if I add the camera, there we go. So there's the PlayStation controller. Let me rotate that. Oops, wrong way. Transform, rotate counterclockwise. Nope. Rotate clockwise. There we go. So I can shrink that. Okay. If I move that, put that there. So I need to put that there. just run a build. Right, so that's succeeded. So what I can do, so if I just run it, so you should be able to see the things that it's doing on the screen. If I turn this light off, you can see now. So it controls the, if I press one of the buttons work. There we go, if I press certain buttons it turns on certain lights. I've only got the up D-pad linked right now. It's not perfect, but like I can press the circle button and it changes the colour. If I press the up on the D-pad it'll change the colour. So it's working pretty well for what I want it to do. Sometimes I have to press the circle button a couple of times because it's not, I don't know, it's not the best, it's not working the best, but now obviously the writing function, there we go, you see a couple of times it doesn't do it, but like if you give it a couple of seconds it does, which is weird. So when I'm pressing up it's saying HID write failure, and then it does it again. How many times does it take before it switches? Okay, so I have to press it about 5 or 6 times for it to change the color on the controller, but it does work. So it does change the colors, which is good, which means things are working, things are interfacing, which is what I want it to be doing, because I want feedback like this. I want to be able to control this in Unreal Engine. So like, it turns out, you know, from what I was trying to do, I've ended up having to do this, but making this is changing things, because if I can press this button here, it'll run, it'll stay, it'll close the application, but it doesn't clear it from the memory, so the colors stay in the memory until the controller is disconnected and then reconnected. So there we go, it's in its standard mode. I run the application again, it cycles through different colors, runs an automatic demo sequence, and these are different colors and flash sequences that I've coded. Now while it's doing this on the poll, while it's polling and getting the data from the controller, if I don't press the power PS button, but it does detect the buttons that I press, which is good, because that's what we want. Oh, so the start and select buttons are not being detected. Okay, that's interesting. So if I press enter on the keyboard, it runs another light sequence, and then it closes the connection. So really it should be doing all this at the start, which some of the things it's doing is not doing right. But we're also able to control the triggers. with haptic feedback, so it has vibration on the controller as well when it runs the sequence. So it does work pretty well. It's just the start of it. It's just to test the functions, really, to see what works, what doesn't work. And when I press enter, obviously it runs the faded animation. So obviously I want that to do that on the start. So what I want to do is I want to go back to the analyzer, and this is basically how we run the functions. So it's got like different heartbeat patterns and stuff, like vibration patterns. So if we press the cross button, we should get a pulsed blue light after it started. So we'll let it run through its cycle. Obviously it won't be doing this all the time when I've rewrote the core functions. Right, it's in interactive mode now. So if we press the X button, there we go, it does the blue. When we do the circle, it does the red. But then it does a HID write failure. So I think what is happening is when we're running the writer, we're not closing something in the controller. So sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So it says HID write failure, and we're getting some funny symbols in there where it says reconnecting. So if I press enter to close it off, now you see when it does this, this particular color function is actually working really well. So something isn't really working right, but I'll figure that out eventually. Right, so these are the haptics, like demo sequences. Right. So I do think there's something wrong here. Writer async shutdown. That's what we're missing. Now you see this, we have to shut down each function after we've called it so it works properly. So when we set the light bar color, we also want to shut down afterwards, I think, but really we need a writer clear as well, but I'm not too sure. I want to get these other colors in there as well now, just to see what happens. So we got different colors for different buttons. So if I reload that, so obviously it did the vibrate then, I've seen it vibrate. Now at the moment the only functions that they're doing is it just sets the light bar color. But the plan is, if we can integrate this with Unreal Engine, then we've created from scratch a fully functioning interface a fully working controller subsystem for Unreal Engine that natively supports Sony's proprietary PlayStation 5 controller with haptic feedback and real-time user feedback to the controller to the player from the game engine. So circle is red, Okay, so that did work. But after we've shut it down, it's no longer letting us, but I'm not seeing any write errors, which is good. Yeah, so it won't run the light bar animation once the shutdown has been initiated. Okay, that's interesting, because then that means we need to reinitialize the function every time we want to do something. So light effects, right, async, thread safe, so interesting. That's what I need to figure out is right, get rid of them. Okay. Sleep for 10 ms. Okay. Fade 2. Right, so that's the fade color. Okay. Sequential fades, so blue, white, yellow, green, back to blue, so we can pick different colors to fade it to. Alright. Could that be what it is we're missing the thread sleep for? That could be what it is, because I think that's what we need in here. Right, okay, so where is it? Right. So we get that, yeah? What we do is a 10 ms sleep. Yeah, okay, we'll try that. We'll try that and we'll see if that works, because that should change it. So the right erasing shutdown does work. So I think I might need to code a async initialize, so we can initialize it, set the color, shut it down, and that's what it needs to do for every time it needs to change the colors on the thing. Yes, right. That's exactly what I think we need to do. And obviously we give it a polling thread. So right. So when we're initializing everything, so we initialize the writer, we initialize writer async there, right? So that's the initializing construct. Okay. Right, so initialize the dual sense writer, thread safe, feedback manager, light effects, button control, and haptic manager. Right. Then it defines and apply base feedback states. Okay. Continuous. Right. And then feedback apply state. Right, okay. Okay. So See, I code shit sometimes and I'm not really realizing what I'm doing at some points, but right, that's the red and blue flashing for alternating colors. Right, so what we could do is we could take that and we could stick this here. Oh shit. Right, we'll copy that and we'll put it here where we'll run the automatic demo. Right, so this demo uses the light effects system that I created, so it has different types of flash. So I should actually put, yeah, one in, yeah, that's in there. This stream might have flashing lights and images, yeah, the disclaimer's in there, yeah. Because obviously photosensitivity. So if you do have epilepsy, I should actually stick that in my side chat as well. Right, so I should stick that in there and I'll pin that. There we go. Right, so I want to see if it does the red and blue flashing lights to start with. So obviously I'll run that, do them colours first. Cyan, magenta, white, white, faster white flash, yellow flash, red. Right, so it did the blue one, did the yellow one, or the pink one, triangle, created the ramp up green light, circle does red, there we go. Look at that. We can now change the colours on the controller with each of the buttons. This is exactly what we want, the kind of functionality that we want, so I was right. Putting in the delay is, the 10 millisecond delay is just enough so it gives it enough time to write to the controller's memory before continuing. Boom. So yeah, because when we try and do the other D-pad lights, because there's no delay on the control button, it's not working straight away. That's causing a write error. Now we can do this as many times. We can even which is good, we can just like switch between different colors by rapidly tapping, and there's no errors. So that works. Brilliant. Obviously, let's skip. This is the end cycle. How it ends. Okay. Right. So. Right, that's weird, because that should actually go back then down here. Right, so now we've got that, what we want to do is test the haptic manager to see if when I press these buttons that it will trigger the vibrations on the controllers now. And there's different patterns for each of the things. So yeah, we don't want that. So we don't want the writer sync shutdown, but we do want the haptic manager. So we can get rid of that. Do that. We also need to do the same, put the sleep in there. So then when we press the D-pad up, it should do this in full white. I think that should be enough. Now we can skip these just to speed up the launch process. So obviously it shows two different methods of setting the lights and the LEDs. Now obviously these ones down here is for the little bar that comes up at the bottom, but the ones up at the top there are a different type of light bar. So that these LEDs at the top inside the controller, that's the light bar, but the one at the bottom is the player bar. So the idea is maybe we could link the player bar down at the bottom to represent physical health of a character or something. I don't know. The possibilities are endless for this bit of software. Right, so that's the polling loop. Startup light bar animation is in here, so that does the fade. Yep, okay, that should be it. Right, let's run that and build it. Okay, so you've seen the orange light came on. We're now in the function mode. So if I press X, I get vibrations. I don't know if you can hear it, but obviously the light isn't staying on. So we just had a device disconnection. Oops. Okay, so the haptics isn't perfect, the vibration system is not perfect. So we'll try that again. Right, so if I press square, oh, okay, right, so the haptic system is not perfect. So it's the vibration system that's causing errors. That's fine. We're not really too concerned about vibration feedback at the moment. We can work on that later on. I think the main function of this really is if I look in the haptic vibration source code, so is it this one, or is it this one, haptic manager? See, this is the problem, is I have two haptic feedback and control systems when it should just be vibration would be in haptic vibration, and the haptic manager should be like a wrapper for the vibration system. But we've got all these, so we've got the trigger modes, synchronized haptics and visuals, which obviously won't work yet, which I do need to work on and tweak, but I think we can just use the basic rumble pulse for now, which is basically simple vibration for a certain amount of time, and we can do rumble intervals, which they work. I know these two do work, so we'll go back to the analyzer and let's see where it's going here. Right, so I see what problem is here. So when we're setting the light color, well, when we trigger the vibration is being triggered before the light is being set. We want the light to be set first, then the vibration to be done after. So what we'll do is we'll take that, we'll put that behind there. So as you can see, we have rumble pulse there, and then we have haptic manager play pattern, which picks the pattern and which we don't want. We don't want that. Well, we do, because that's the better way to have it, but yeah, I think I need to disable the haptic system for now, because yeah, I don't think that's working that well. But I think we can do haptic manager, and what we want is initialize. Oh, that's already done. It's already initialized. But I think that could be the problem, is the initialization logic. But so if I go back to here, so we're not using haptic vibration, we're using haptic manager, right? So we're looking here. Ah, rumble pulse, yeah, rumble pulse. Okay. Right, yeah, so it should be haptic manager rumble pulse, because in previous iterations when we've run the initializer, it's done a little vibration. Yeah, so state rumble profile heartbeat, yeah, so it does a little vibration when it starts. Now it seems to be the feedback state there that's actually doing it, applying base feedback pattern, not the way we've got it in here. So this is what seems to be doing it. Using the rumble profile. So yeah, we do different. Yeah, we have a light bar profile, rumble profile. So it should set what the state is of the controller. Right. So I think we have to do that in between each function when it's applied. So I'm going to try that. We'll see what the rumble pulse does. Now, when it started, then it had a little rumble and then stopped. So there we go. I press the X and it gives us a flash. And it also vibrates the controller. With a little pulse. But if we press the other lights, it stays on. So yeah, so that works. Right, so that's interesting. Let's run the end animation. A boat has been called. That's weird. A breakpoint instruction. Eh? I do not have any breakpoints defined. What are you on about? That was weird. So it's not perfect, but it needs to be perfect, which is really doing me head in. So this seems to be what's running the thing, right? Well, we'll deal with that later. It's not really the most important thing. Right, so we need that. Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to keep haptics disabled completely for now, because there seems to be a problem with haptics, because that's just what caused that error to happen. And That did not make sense to me whatsoever. Okay, that closed fine. So there's something with the haptic system that's causing it not to play nice. But yeah, so it is this feedback state. So it's this section that give us that initial colour light up things that are lighting up and that when we started it. So we could probably change these to actually I'll leave them there. Right, so that did a rumble of a heartbeat, right? So instead we'll do soft, and that light bar color that comes up, give it red. Let's see if that does anything. I think it should do. And let's build that. So it's using async polling. Yeah, I don't think I need to look on the screen and watch this as it's doing it. Right, what if I press up? Yeah, so that works fine. I mean, we've got most of the things working in it. And I actually kind of like it when you press each of the face buttons, you get something. So we're not getting left stick click and right stick click or start and options. We get R1, L1, L2. Oh, L2 and R2, right. They work. So them buttons work when we press buttons like that, yep. So they work now. That's what we want. Yeah. Yeah, baby. Ooh, fucking raw. Right. We might have to completely redo the function systems in the analyzer script, but this is just for testing. This code is just for testing to see if the functions that we make work, and we are interfacing at the hardware level with the Sony PlayStation 5 controller, where we can control things. So this has took me like 4 days non-stop, because I need it. And I think a lot of people out there who are going to be doing work in Unreal Engine and stuff like that are going to need something like this. I mean, using the PlayStation 5 controller is so much better than using the Xbox One, because you just don't get any feedback like you would with the 360 controller or the PlayStation 4 controller, or in fact this one, the Xbox One controller, which isn't the best. Like, these triggers are just buttons, they're not actual triggers, so there's no sense to them. The buttons are very tactile. the parts in this, and these are basic compared to the parts in here, and so there's a big difference in the quality. So let's get back to writing the wrappers now. So output wrapper. Okay, yep. We're not going to be using set rumble, so we're going to comment that out. So basically what we're doing now is we're wrapping the functions so that we can be able to use them in Unreal Engine. So if I pop a controller down there, yeah, right. So, but we can control the LEDs and flash player LEDs and stuff like that. Okay. Haptic wrapper, we'll need that as well. So add new item header. DualSense haptic wrapper. Alright. Copy and paste that in there. Now it should only be using the haptic manager, not haptic vibration, because both functions are the same fucking thing. Yeah, I think we can just keep that right there. I think what we'll have to do is we'll have to trigger the vibration functions separately, away from the main code, just to keep it safe, because clearly there's an issue that I need to work out with the haptic manager system to get it working, but we can still have the trigger system and everything like that. So we want our light wrapper. Alright, the item. H. Alright. So that'll do for that one. Yeah, so color cycle, damage flash, health gradient, and victory pulse. Yeah, we can add later ones on it later on. Okay. Now we'll do a unified wrapper. So we'll call this DualSense subsystem. .h. Alright. Now what we do is we call that DualSense and DualSense. Right, so we include the haptic wrappers, input, output wrappers, light wrappers. There we go. Boom. And give us that. Right. Okay, so we now need to make the CPP files. So, going to source, create a new item. This will be a C++ file. So this will be the dual sense input wrapper, and basically this controls the functionality. Okay, put that in. Dual sense input wrapper. There we go. No errors. Fantastic. So basically this will just should make everything run a lot easier. So we should be able to get the isPress state, get access, bind button, bind access, stuff like that, get states. So we can get the states of the controller buttons and stuff like that. So that covers the inputs. Obviously I'll add more to it. Next is the dual sense output wrapper. Again, same thing. Since I've already got the code base already pre-made, I can just drop it in like that. Bam. Save. Oh, I've got some errors. So we're not using set rumble. We're going to keep that excluded for now, just to ensure everything still works with the LEDs and the buttons and stuff. Right. Okay. Right. So basically what this will do now is we can pull the state, we can manage the buttons, and we can do access callbacks from the input wrapper, and it uses threading, so it updates asynchronously. It's context validation and auto shutdown for controller safety, because otherwise we could blow the chip. We don't want to do that. That's why I'm disabling the haptic feed. Excuse me. That's why I'm disabling the vibration system and the haptic feedback system for the moment, because we don't want to break something in the controller, but other stuff is working fine. The output gives us a unified LED and writer management system. It runs synchronously on the main thread while the input stuff is on the background thread. And also what this will do is this will expose set light color and set rumble as blueprint callable. That's the plan anyway, hopefully. So the plan is to be able to integrate this into Unreal Engine, so that way we can interface with the controller in Unreal Engine. So let's make sure it's got a good angle for the controller, because obviously you want to be able to see it work, right? I mean, we've got it working anyway, but now I do need to check something in the analyzer, because yeah, I thought so. So right here, where we've got the I states for the buttons, so we've got cross, circle, square and triangle, which is these ones. We've got D-pads up, down, left and right, which is these. We've got the left bumpers and the right, left and right triggers. We've got the PlayStation button, the mic logo and the touchpad button, but I'm not seeing the start and select button, or the left stick click and the right stick click. So that's what needs updating in this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to update this first. And where's the H file as well? So this is, yeah, so these are, this is okay. Yeah, that's fine. So it's just this one. Right, so, okay. L1, R2, L2, right. So, buttons A should be in there, L3, R3. There we go. So, if we rebuild that, great, succeeded. Right, interaction mode active. Okay, so, should be able to move the sticks, great. If I press the stick, there we go, R3, L3, start, options, share, yeah, there we go. That's what we're missing, and to terminate the connection, we press the PlayStation button. Boom. So we're getting some input and output and feedback from it, so it is working. So, all good. Now, by pressing the PlayStation button, we can bypass having to press enter, because when we press enter, it runs down the other code, which, so if I press enter on the keyboard, it'll run through the light bar animation program, and then it shuts down, but it leaves the blue light on for us. Ooh, that's interesting. So, input cross circle L1, R2, L3, R3 share. Alright, yeah, so if you press multiple buttons at once, that's interesting. Yeah, we could do that later. It's not exactly the biggest thing right now. Right, so we have the DualSense output wrapper, we have the input wrapper, we need the other wrappers as well. So we've got the light wrapper, output wrapper. Wait, what? Oh my god. Oh yeah, no, that was right, yeah. No, it's over here. Yeah, output wrapper, input wrapper. So we need the light wrapper CPP file next. Right, so we'll make the DualSense light wrapper system. There we go. Great. Yep. Now for the DualSense subsystem C+ file. There we go. Now this should be the way things should be running in the DualSense analyzer main script by using the subsystem wrappers now. Okay, so what we're going to do now is, with this core script that we use to test everything, we're going to copy that. We're going to save that to a notepad. Where are you? There we go. So we'll save that as DualSense main test functions. Right, so we save them, and then what we do is I'm going to tell the thing to recreate my analyzer main script so that it works using the new stuff that we've just created. Right, so I want you to recreate the Right, so I've given it the old script, and I'm asking it to recreate the script using the new subsystems that I've just created. Right, so if we paste all that in now, that now gives us our new system. Apart from set rumble, we keep that commented out. Right, so let's build it. Ooh. Okay. We've got some problems in oh, okay. So let's look at that one. DualSense vibration. Ah, right. Okay. Input wrapper, subsystem H, haptic wrapper. Yeah, so we go to the haptic wrapper.h because it's calling that. Right. No. Okay, that is right. Right, so let me copy that error log. Alright, GeoSynth's haptic vibration and haptic manager define the same enums. Okay. So since both headers are included in the same compilation unit, even indirectly through the subsystem includes the compiler sees them twice. Right, so, okay. So, haptic manager, haptic vibration. Okay, I know what needs to be done. We will just comment them out. So edit advanced comment section. There we go. So we can do that. We can build that. Oh shit. Oh, well, that was a problem. Nope. 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 Alright. So instead we'll do this. Alright. Do that. And then end the if statement there. Right. I mean, we could just do that. Wait. I'll just remove that. Okay. Right, so again we can comment out the haptic system. Rebuild. Okay, so GeoSense output wrapper writer can access private output wrapper. Right. So in output wrapper H, what we need is a public constructor that allows us to get access to the private wrapper. There we go. We call that get writer. Alright, bam. Rebuild. And then change the call in GeoSynth subsystem. Where are you? There it is. To there we go. analyzer. Right, let's go back to the analyzer. Okay, so that has compiled. Let's see. Where are you? There you are. Yeah. Okay, so we've got some Unicode in here. We don't want that. That's emoji language. I might need to tweak ChatGPT there to stop putting emojis in code, because that's really fucking annoying. Right, okay, no more issues. Build, great, it's done, it's built. Right, let's test it. Okay, so it's running a new startup animation. Okay, so if I press Control C, Control C failed. Right, that's a problem. So the DualSense subsystem automatically performs the HID cleanup. Right, so DualSense yeah, so we're missing some things in here, you see. Right. Now, if we take this and we will comment that, and then we install this, rebuild this, oh, there we go. Right. Great. Let's run it again. Controller crashed. Let's reconnect it. Let's try that again now. Oh, that was weird. Right, so we've lost. Okay. Right. Circle, red. Magenta. Green. But it's not pulsing. Okay. Left stick click, right stick. Oh! The clicks are changing the colours as well. So we're not getting our feedbacks. Oh, hey, so these buttons are working. Okay, so we got orange when we press share, start, or options. When we press that one, we get the blue. When we press that, we get pink, green, red, blue, cyan, and white. Okay, so that's all them colours. But okay, so we're getting there. We're getting there with the button system. Right. So if I copy this, ah. So that did not work. Okay. Right, so let's try something else. Right, so we're going to have to go bare bones here. There we go. Subsystem mode enabled. So we got controller connected, its device handle. Says the connection type is USB. We got the DualSense button control initialized. DualSense input wrapper initialized successfully. DualSense writer. Light effects initialized. DualSense output. Why is it initializing light effects twice and the DualSense? Okay. So we get no button presses right now, but we press X. So it is changing the colors. We're just getting no feedback on the screen. Interesting. But that's good. That's showing that the code is working without needing to see it on the screen. So that's interesting. So we're making some good progress. I think I'm making some really good progress with this. If I press the PlayStation button to exit, it's giving me that. So we're getting a problem when it's not releasing it properly. I see what it's doing. It's creating two versions of light effects. DualSense reader. Ah, right, okay. So I need to update my DualSense reader. Right, let's close that down. Wait, we're not using the reader? Okay, brain's burnt. I'm going to sleep. I'll figure it out tomorrow. Yeah, thanks for watching. Peace out, guys.